It's always fun to see what's coming up for the new year and new season in fashion, and I, for one, would get very bored and depressed if we dressed the exact same way every year and everybody looked alike. I would just be really sad. So anyway, let's talk about some upcoming trends for 2026, what we can expect, what I'm curious about, what's kind of exciting in the fashion world, and let's get started. Now, I think that 2026 has a very big chance of swinging the proverbial pendulum back in the other direction in fashion. And I think you'll see what I mean with some of these trends I'm going to talk about. But first, I don't know if you've noticed, but the 2020s have been heavily influenced by the 90s, which we all were 30 years ago. That's so crazy. And that whole 90s vibe of shapeless outfits and wide leg jeans and untucked shirts is still very much on trend, even going into 2026. Now, does that mean that you need to start dressing like your emo 1996 self? Absolutely not. But I do think adopting some of these trends, like the relaxed fits, the boyfriend cuts, the slightly oversized, that has been really big, the big trend for the last several years, is not a bad thing. And frankly, I think it's more comfortable and flattering on a lot of us. And so all of that is here to stay. But in 2026, we are also going to start seeing some more 80s vibes, some more 80s influence coming around. So think pencil skirt suits, pussy bow tops. I don't like that word.
I'm positive I'm not hearing that right.
We are already seeing the parachute pant be a very big trend, which I think is more late 80s, early 90s, that whole hammer pant. And that is a really big trend that's here right now. Polka dots have been a very big trend as of late. We're gonna see a lot more cinched outfits, like strong shoulders, cinched waist, maybe belted waist. And yes, all of this is happening at the same time as those 90s influences as well with the shapeless outfits. There's so much happening in fashion. I think that a lot of us, it's just hard to believe that there's so many things that are on trend. And I just think that's the way it is right now. There's just, there's something out there for everybody. It used to be that there was only skinny jeans, and if you didn't wear skinny jeans, you were out of style. It's not like that anymore. Like, there's just a lot going on in fashion, which I think is really exciting. Now, in that 80s vein, and I'll mention these right now, even though this is happening right now, but I think these will go well into spring 2026, but very much kind of an 80s vibe are the leather bomber jackets, the funnel neck jacket, and kind of these oversized jackets and outerwear is a really big trend for right now and going into 2026. Now, we are also continuing to see that late 80s, early 90s with the trousers and the sneakers. Sneakers with everything, that's still here, guys, going into 2026. And we're still seeing a lot of retro sneakers like the Puma Speedcat and the SL72s by Adidas be a really big trend. Now, our sponsor for this video is one of my favorite companies when it comes to just beautifully made, timeless clothing, and that's Lily Silk. Lily Silk actually uses grade A long fiber mulberry silk, which is one of the top tiers in the silk world. They use a very high mulm, I think that's how you say it, in their silk, which means that their silk is very sustainable and durable. Their cashmere comes from Mongolian mountain goat, and they are knitted with a fairly dense gauge, so the garment holds shape and longevity. If your priority is to get the highest quality cashmere, silks, wools that have ethical, sustainable business practices, Lily Silk is a wonderful company. I want to show you some of the new pieces I have from the Lily Silk Fall and Winter collection. I'm going to start off with these silk and wool blend pants because I love everything about them. These are super high-waisted with the softness of silk and the warmth of wool. They can easily be worn dressed up or down. This zip front cardigan is made of 70% merino wool and 30% cashmere, which gives it a very soft feel but also very warm. I've paired it with this silk and wool blend straight leg pants, also from Lily Silk. These pants feature belt loops as well as an elastic waist in the back, which makes these pants suitable for many body types. This cardigan is so soft. It's 100% grade A Mongolian cashmere, which features advanced Japanese brushing to deliver an ultra soft and cozy fabric that feels amazing against your skin. The cardigan has a boxy fit and works beautifully with jeans, but can be dressed up as well. I love how it wears so easily but looks so polished. Just as soft and equally as wearable is this baby cashmere cardigan in a luxe cable knit. This is a lightweight but still very warm and cozy piece that can stay with you from season to season.
This mock neck sweater I'm wearing is made of 70% merino wool and 30% cashmere. It easily works as a staple piece to a classic wardrobe and pairs well with jeans or trousers. And last but not least, I love my silk button-ups by Lily Silk. These pair so great with jeans or even leather pants, and the colors are absolutely beautiful and vibrant. I do like sizing up to a medium in these tops.
So I will leave links to all the items that I'm wearing from Lily Silk down below in the description box, and let's continue. Now for something a little more new and where I think the pendulum is going to be swinging in another direction is I think we are going to be walking away a little bit from this huge quiet luxury trend that has been dominating the trend cycle for the last several years. And I think we are going to be moving into some more maximalist looks. Now, does that mean that quiet luxury is out of style? No, 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 no. As we all know from looking at quiet luxury, and what I've said and lots of people, we all recognize is that quiet luxury was basically classics and beautiful classic looks. And we've all known that even though it was a trend, it was still very classic. So what I think is going to happen are the people who were just wearing this quiet luxury look because it was a trend, they'll probably move on to something else. And then women who this really resonates as their personal style. I mean, it kind of resonates with my personal style a lot. You know, we continue wearing these quiet luxury looks, these more classic looks. And then of course, if you're like me, I like to, you know, throw in some trends here and there. So I just think this whole quiet luxury era that we've had will kind of move, it'll just start moving to the background a little bit, and we'll start seeing more maximalist pieces come in. So on the runways, where this was really a big indication is like the Row, who is, you know, their whole thing is quiet luxury. They had feather skirts and they had feathers on their outfits, which is a very ostentatious item. Now, there were also a lot of feathers on like Bottega and Victoria Beckham on the runways for 2026. And I don't necessarily mean think that means that we're gonna see feathers everywhere, but I do think it is a good indication of just what is to come in fashion. I think we're just gonna see a lot more ostentatious looks, more luxe looks, a little more like unique, individual kind of styles that come out in 2026. Now, up till this point, we have been loving and living for our neutrals. The chocolate brown has been reigning over 2025. We've seen some beautiful neutrals and neutral adjacent colors just be really on the scene in the last few years. You know, burgundies and reds and, you know, beautiful browns and ivories we've just really seen a lot of beautiful neutrals. And I think in 2026 though, as I said, the pendulum is gonna start swinging a little bit. I think we are going to see more color, more saturated colors. I don't know if we're gonna revert back to the 2020 dopamine dressing, even though there was some of that on the runways for spring. I don't know if we're gonna be going there exactly, but I do think we are gonna see a lot more colors come out in 2026. And certain colors might be more the focal point rather than the neutrals. Will that mean that neutrals are out of style? Of course not. Neutrals never go out of style, but I do think it will be a lot more focus on these bright, saturated colors. And a lot of these beautiful, bold colors mix so nicely with neutrals. Now, you know how the track pant and the rugby stripe shirt has been really big for this year. And I think that's just gonna keep getting bigger and bigger for next year. But the whole preppy athleisure aesthetic, still a very big trend, going to continue into the new year being a very big trend. And I just think we're going to see a lot more elevated athleisure. I've really been loving this because I have seen a lot of brands just come out with athleisure, but it doesn't look so much like the loungewear that looks kind of like pajamas that we were wearing several years ago, like in 2020, but it looks more like things you would actually go out, and if somebody stopped you and saw you on the street, you would be proud of what you're wearing because it's some like elevated athleisure. And not only athleisure, but it's just a whole preppy vibe. So cable knit sweaters, boat shoes, which we've seen become a trend in the last few months. The rugby stripes, of course, and the polo stripes, the polo shirts in general. Polo cashmere shirts, polo stripe shirts, all these items that we consider kind of preppy. This is definitely a very on-trend aesthetic for 2026. Another trend I think we are going to start seeing a lot more in 2026, which we haven't in a while, and this is definitely going to be for certain people, and certain people they're like, no way, but we are going to see a lot more mixture of prints. So with this kind of 80s influence, you know, we are seeing a lot of polka dots. So we will see a lot of outfits put together with polka dots and florals and plaids with stripes, things like that. And they were already starting to see this a little bit in like the really cool fashion people. And so I do think this will trickle down into mainstream fashion somewhere in 2026. Will I be mixing prints? I don't know. I don't know yet. I did like this the last time it came around. What was that, 10 and 15 years ago? I actually was very big into mixing prints. I don't know if that's my vibe anymore. So we'll have to see. I'll have to play around with that at some point, see if I'm inspired to do it again and see what happens. So I think these trends are always fun. And it is interesting for me to look at these things too as now a 44-year-old woman, when maybe the last time they were very on trend was I was 27. So, you know, sometimes things that I loved back then, I'm just like, I don't know if it's for me this time around, but we'll see. So one trend I find very interesting, and I think we can all agree this is a great trend. I wouldn't say so much a trend, I would say a movement, but people are just becoming more educated when it comes to clothing and shopping for their clothes. Consumers are getting smarter, we have higher standards, and many of us will not settle for these sheer, cheaply made, poorly made garments that were running rampant 10 years ago. Now we want cottons and cashmeres and wool and silks and high quality synthetics. Even though this has nothing to do with actual style trends, I do see this in fashion, but I just do think it's interesting that a lot of brands are really trying hard to get on board with this, which is obviously really good. So anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know if there's any particular trends that you're excited about, or you're excited that, you know, are you excited quiet luxury might not be the big thing anymore? And these are all somewhat my predictions. These are educated guesses, but you know, as always, there's no telling what will be happening in 2026. Could I have predicted that the Adidas track pant would be one of the hottest trends of 2025? I don't think I did. So that was kind of random, but I love it. I love that trend. I've really enjoyed that. So anyway, let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Lily Silk if that is something that interests you. I will leave all the items I'm wearing in the description box below, and I will see you next time.